This podcast contains adult language, descriptions of violence, sexual references, and other possibly offensive themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to this episode of Back to the Story, where friends come together to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'll be your DM, Klaus. Let's get started.
When you see God's rest surrounded by armies,
I'm sorry I couldn't buy us more time.
then know that its desolation has come near.
I mean, I have great faith in the gods. I think that no matter what happens, they're going to triumph over this.
Then let those who are upon the pinnacle flee to the mountains.
And it's not really our place to judge, but to serve.
And let those who are inside the city depart.
I think if you gave me a few days, I could learn enough deep speech to try.
And let not those who are out in the forest enter it.
I'm an archaeologist. Disrespecting the dead is kind of what I do.
For these are the days of vengeance,
I just want to know what the fuck I am.
to fulfill all that is written.
Do not heed the visions of false prophets. Do not become what they want you to become.
Alright, Scales. It's up to you now. You've got this.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, are you ready to jump in now that we have goals?
Sure.
Episode 66. Recap Balderrock, Vallismore. The vision opens with a silence that rings your ears. A chamber of glass refracting breath of life, light of magic. A hand, wrapped in cloth, stretches, twists, moves, writing symbols which flash briefly in the air before dissipating. The stars dance and shine in response. A tearing sound from behind. The figure speeds her movements, tall with wings of grey. The angel is blindfolded. Void moves behind her as a saber of crimson forms in its hands. Her chest rips open as the saber is thrust through her back. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't stop. She writes the symbols in the sky. She sends a message. The creature, in anger and frustration, strikes her again and again and again as the blinded creature falls to her knees. Grasping at the stars she speaks through. The vision shifts towards the stars as they mirror her hand gestures, moving, flashing, dancing. Remembrance of erudite veritas cacas. Previously, as the bronze scales seek out the prophecies of the last son of Vladis, exploring the homeland of giants, they find themselves a sacred site. Cornered by the Isioton, the frost giants, with Ball holding the fabled hammer, Avelmar. The Isioton were able to be convinced, blessing Ball and even sending a scout to lead the scales to Vallismore, the burning city. Hiking across the mountainous ridges towards the smoking peak in the distance, Ball was faced with memories of his past. Memories of when he was called Balderrock. Once reaching Vallismore, the scales were guided in to meet their leader, Vercingetorix, who called Ball's son, and explained his origins with the Ochre Witch and the destiny around the Titans and the return of Tyrus. We come back to the story here. Vercingetorix and the other Ildioton, the fire giants, were adamant about Ball, as the last son of Vladis, taking Avelmar to face a Titan serpent in order to pass the trials of Ash and Ember and fulfill destiny. You've been given food and a place to rest, all piling into one large bedroom. The stone is dark obsidian, but reflects the red light coming from the small magma trails around the perimeter of the room, used as light. After some deliberation and Vesper speaking to Diether, you all found a rest for the night. The heavy iron boots of patrolling giants were intermittent, but in your meditation, Felix, you heard the steps stop right outside your doorway. The large glyph circular stone was rolled away to reveal nearly 20-foot fire giant in heavy iron armor, guard, horns running up from the helm, a black beard of coal falling below, and eyes burning yellow fire. Pausing, standing still, looking inside. Quickly reading his mind, you caught glimpses of heightened emotions, anger, mine, take, kill, jealousy. And as Felix began to call out to the scales of the pocket to rouse and awake, you're all hearing Felix's calls, slowly kind of bursting your eyes open, looking around, trying to orient yourself as this large giant quickly walks very quickly towards Ball. As while you open your eyes, hearing Felix's voice first, you open your eyes upon a fire giant, black beard, head as large as your torso as he grabs your chest and lifts you up. Gundrak Rofondraka. Speaking, for those of you that understand, why have you returned? Why are you here? As he lifts you up, Ball.
I think as one hand is trying to pry his grip off of my chest, Ball says, well, I have been brought here to see my destiny.
It is not your destiny, boy. Leave this place. Leave it. Leave it to the Yolton.
It is not up for you to decide. And
It is up to me to decide. What were you wanting to do?
Maybe just at the same time as he says it is, it's just Ball is going to really try to separate this grip. Let me see if I can do it in a more forceful, giant-like way.
And are you wanting to try athletics?
I kind of want to do it a little differently.
Sure.
Did we... Because we've... Does this count as a full rest or not quite?
No, not quite.
Okay. So looking back, I still do have spells. So what I'd like to do is cast a second level... Can I... He's just gripping my chest. I should be able to do that. I'd like to cast a second level hold person on him.
Okay. And at this point, I'm going to roll this, and then we'll see what happens. We'll go from there. That is 12.
So he is held, and when he is held, I'd like Ball to kind of, just like, not breaking eye contact, just starts to peel his fingers off of his chest and kind of push him away.
Thank you, George, for the clarification. As you cast the spell, the burning in his fire giant eyes kind of flash. The spell doesn't seem to affect him at all.
Oh,
He's not humanoid. He's Jotun.
In that case, well, I guess that's my action.
Can I do a thing?
Yeah, why don't we... what do you want to do, and we'll find out.
He's wearing this giant's wearing a helmet, right?
Yes.
How close to his eyes is it?
It's not a full mask, but there are holes for the eyes.
Great. I'm going to cast light on his helmet and try and blind him.
Okay, let's roll initiative at this point.
That's touch.
Ah, fuck me running. Never mind. I'm not doing that.
I'm sorry. I'm ruining everything.
Way to go, George.
I need a resident rules lawyer because I don't know
it helps.
what's going on.
Help.
So I'm
not doing.
Pre-game, I rolled like 17, 16, 10, things like that. I rolled a natural 2, so it's good to be back, guys.
I feel like I'm okay having low initiative on combat because it's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm about to do. So at least if you have low initiative, you'll be like, well, I didn't have to decide what to do.
Yeah, exactly. I can react to things, but still.
Okay, so all of you are waking up, hearing yelling. Maybe if it's Felix, and then you see this massive 20-foot fire giant in dark iron plate mail who has a ball around his armor on his chest and is kind of lifting him up. Ellery, so you're kind of laying down. You're prone on the bed.
So what I am going to do is get up first And then I will cast Enlarge on Ball.
So Ball still in his grip, you shift, elongate and enlarge into where you're probably a little taller than he is now.
Not a pun, but it's easier to say than type it, so maybe ton, but I will
Ew, what?
Oh, different. Oh, sorry, you said enlarge. My mistake.
Anything
You
else
guys
for
see you
Hillary?
next week.
Felix stabs himself in the temple.
Sorry, that's a touch action. You can't do it.
Anything else for you, Hillary?
I think other than... Oh, wait. Looking at the map, no, I'm gonna just stay where I am. Never mind.
Felix.
All right, Felix is probably well within that creature's movement, so he's going to not want to move. So I will cast Fairy Fire on the giant. I think for Felix, it's more of like just this pink burst of light that flashes up from the ground and then just kind of lingers.
He looks down at the flashing, confused, but that's a 4.
Yeah, so attacks against him have advantage, and then with my bonus action, I'll just pop Aeon out near him.
And that'll bring us up to Vesper.
Just a moment. I just realized since Tides was up, that means I get a surge.
Yay, roll it. Especially since we've not done it in years.
Okay. 31. What does that sigh mean?
Hillary, as you hold your hand out and Ball enlarges, all of you see she disappears. And Hillary, you're cast head over heels spinning. You see lights. You see pink and purples and reds storming together, slamming into one another. You see larger rocks tumbling end over end, crystals slowly growing like moss upon them as you're trying to orient yourself, and that'll bring us to Vesper.
This is fun. So the fairy fire sheds light, right? So I can see this.
Yeah.
It outlines him, so he can't be invisible. It's not technically light. But there is dim light around Aeon.
Oh, wait. No, it says for the duration, objects and affected creatures shed dim light in a 10-foot radius.
Oh, then never mind. I'm wrong.
I just want to know what all I can see before I decide what I want to use with my bonus action. Okay.
We can see
That's good. That's great. Good. So, I think I will activate my veil as a bonus action, which will give me 60 feet of dark vision. And then with my action, I'm going to cast Sending. And I'm going to cast Sending for Cinderrock. And in Giant, tell him, your son is in danger and we're being attacked by one of your guards.
And they automatically know it's you, right?
It sounds like my voice, yeah.
You just hear a growl. That's the only response you get.
So yeah, creature hears the message in its mind, recognizes you as the sender if it knows you, and can answer in a like manner immediately. And I am speaking Giant to him.
Okay. He just growls back in Giant.
Okay, cool. And then, okay, great. I can now see everything. How tall are the beds?
Jesus. 5 feet.
Okay. I'm gonna pull Amson off the side and we're just gonna duck down behind it. So we're not immediately in this guy's line of sight.
Okay, you won't be able to pull Amson down, but you can get behind it and start to pull him down.
Will do.
All right, and that will bring us up to Ball. You're on deck, but first he's going to go. He's just looking from side to side down at this pink color. And then he looks back at you, Ball. Our father is blinded, tricked by the witch. He doesn't know what he's doing. If one who is in your doom goes through the trials, it may not work. You have to give the hammer to me. That's all he has time to do. And that's his turn. That brings up to you, Ball.
To clarify, he said, our father, and then he said, going there, it might not work, and if it doesn't work, I would have to give the hammer to him. Did I hear that right?
More or less.
Then I suppose, if it is your destiny, it will come soon enough. And, again, I'm going to try to break the grip, and instead of using hold person, I will try to use, I'll just try to athletics.
Okay.
Which should be with advantage.
22.
27. You try to pull his hands off, but he has you in a tight grip. His fingers kind of near your collarbone, gripping the armor or your clothes, whatever you're wearing in your sleep.
Then I will just burn... I'm going to burn sorcery points as a bonus action. Cast Fire Form. And then just kind of move out of this space. And maybe move... I'm going to move around him instead of through him. And just kind of be behind him as my fire form fades. I don't know, I assume since I can move through creature spaces, he shouldn't be able to still hold me.
Yeah, as you turn into flames, his grip clenches into a fist as you flame and streak across and behind him.
Does he run through me too? Don't know how his size.
I turn into just like a tiny. It's just like a.
Got it.
Speck of fire. So I should be able to kind of. I guess go through here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you should be.
Can I stand there? It's kind of a little dark.
No, you should be fine.
Okay, and that's my turn.
Embers.
I take it this really big giant guy looks like a healthy boy, hey?
A healthy boy? I guess.
Okay, so instead of that, I'm gonna cast Grease directly underneath him. So he needs to make a dex saving throw.
11.
He falls... Let's see. He falls prone. So I will draw...
He's watching
right there.
Ball turn into a streak of fire and come reforming behind him. Grease appears beneath him by Amson, and he slips on his back, slamming, face up, looking now up at Ball, and kind of eyes darting around to the rest of you.
And
anything else for you, Amson?
With my movement, I'm gonna jump off the bed and kind of crouch down behind it, and that'll be my turn.
Okay. And Ellery.
So Ellery has no idea what's going on right now. Is looking around. What does she see at this point?
You're starting to orient yourself. You see lights and swirling storms of energy slamming into one another, folding, twisting, merging. Looking around for any point of reference. You're just floating in this sea, slowly being drawn in one direction. Looking in that direction, you see what looks like a tower of glass that rises up. It's impossibly tall. You can't see the end of it in either direction. And then you, returning to where you previously were. Or actually, was there anything else you wanted to do?
I think, besides looking around and trying to figure out where I was, just saying, oh, fuck, and then I think that's probably when I came back.
And you pop back to where you were. That will bring us up to Felix.
Okay. There hasn't been much hitting, and Ball went around him, so Felix is going to just back up, and he is going to hold his action to information overload should the giant attack.
Okay. That brings us up to Vesper.
Okay, Vesper's going to stand back up. I'm going to hold a Toll the Dead in case the giant does get violent. So I imagine just the smoke is forming that bell. But she'll hold up her other hand and then comment to everybody to say, wait, this is Ball's brother. Or half-brother? He's got a point, whatever he's saying to him. Just wait for a moment. And that will be my turn. I'll hold my action.
Okay. That'll bring us up to him on his back as he tries to get to his feet. Does he need to make something to
A creature that enters the area or ends its turn there must also succeed on a dex saving throw or fall prone.
So he has to get out of that area.
It's difficult terrain, that's about it.
Gotcha, okay. So he kind of shuffles to his feet, slipping here and there, but gets to his knees before standing and shifting out. And that area is still fire, right?
Right through the fire, yeah. And
he walks through
I don't know if that'll change anything. Okay.
He walks through it and it doesn't seem to bother him at all. He stands in it.
As in immune? Because I do have a feat to go through resistances, but not immunity.
As in, he doesn't seem to care at all.
Got it, okay.
You see no burn marks on him. But he looks around at all of you and then towards you, Ball. This is bigger than you. This is bigger than I. You can't make a mistake here. He looks kind of suspiciously on guard to the rest of you, kind of waiting for a flurry of attacks. What if I'm right?
And what does it mean if you're right? That you should be going through this trial?
I should be going through this trial. You were dead, presumed it. You were never your turn. Not like the rest of our people. I don't know where you got that crown, but you have them fooled. But when you reach the heart of the Titan and it does not budge to you, that crown won't be enough.
Then you will have your chance too. But until then, you can sit and watch and hope for the best.
So it's true. You don't remember anything. Just another boy again. At this point, you can hear these loud gong-like bells reverberating through the halls. Just kind of warning bells. I will not sit back and watch. You will give me the hammer, or I'll come with you. And when you die, I will finish the job. If you take issue with this, then we'll solve it here and now. And he kind of meets your gaze and moves forward right up next to you, gripping his hammer.
I'd like to kind of insight and see if he means it when he says that the idea being that he intends to kind of give me, let me have a try before he takes his turn, or if he's just gonna get there and smash me in the back and then do it himself.
Okay, roll an insight check.
I'm just gonna go ahead and use my inspiration roll right off the bat, because I feel like I really would like to know this. Advantage. 21.
It's not clear. He's passionate and intense. And it's not that you think he's lying, it's just that when it comes down to it, you think he would do what he believes most in. And he seems to believe he is the one that has to do this. So you're not sure if he would let you do your whole turn, or you're not really sure. He's not definitely lying, but he's not definitely telling the truth either.
I can't actually see Felix on the map. Did Ball clearly see what direction he ran into? Or
I'm right next to you, actually, 2 squares south.
Okay. Can I presume that I kind of know where you are?
I mean, you would have heard me shouting and casting, so...
Right, okay. So, maybe I will... Ball's going to look in Felix's direction. Actually, I don't even need to look in your direction. I think in my head I'm going to say, to Felix, he would like to join us. I don't know if he intends to be with us or against us when the time comes. And then Ball will follow it up with, what do you think? And then he's going to turn back to the giant and say, so will you be with me, or will you be against me when the time comes?
Felix would like to drop Fairy Fire and cast Comprehend Languages. Or wait, that's not concentration. I don't have to. I'll just cast Comprehend Languages. So I can take part in the conversation, but I will just listen for his response for now.
Thoughts.
I don't have any more of those spell slots. It's been a long day.
When the time comes, we will see if it is you or I was the last son of Vladis. A half-rune or a Iltiltan. We will see.
You're not older than Ball, are you? Speak up in Giant.
It kind of like looks around for that voice and finally finds you.
I came before him, but he is not Iltan. Not the last half-son of Vladis.
He has Vladis' blood, and he's younger than you, so...
He is not full-blooded, he is half-rune.
Well, was your mother related to Vladis? Is that a whole family tree not have enough branches? Are you fully blooded?
I will not explain myself to you, small one. Boy, your mother tricked our father. This is not your fault. I know not what she seeks, the corruption of the omens. Have someone else, undestined, kill the Titan. Maybe you are the last son of Vladis. Maybe you aren't. The trials will tell, and I will be there to watch, to see, and to finish, if need be.
Personally, I don't think we should take along someone with so many daddy issues and his lack of approval to go on this mission before this, but I don't know how to stop him from doing what he wants without killing him.
Is this to us or in my head?
In your head. I can only understand, not speak.
I don't know much about giants or Jotun, but I believe they are a passionate bunch. Maybe with time he will see reason, and maybe he is right. Only time will tell. Besides, there is strength in numbers.
Ball, in the morning, would you let me try something? I think it could help.
You see Ball, well, maybe you do or you don't. You see Ball nod rather than respond. And then he'll look back at this giant and say, well, if you will be joining my friends and I, then I suppose we should begin again with some proper introductions.
Introductions? Do you not know who I am?
I think Ball's going to pause for a second, and then he'll look around and say, they do not know who you are.
Are you trying to play this off?
Yeah, kinda.
Okay.
Not,
yeah,
it does like it's, yeah, he's trying to play it off. It might not necessarily be, like, he's not trying his hardest necessarily.
Okay. Well, do you want to give a deception check?
Yeah, I think I'll do that anyway.
Okay.
Deception. A 16.
Well, he turns to the rest of you. For the rest of you, I'm Vlad. I am this boy's older brother. He looks back at you over his shoulder. We spent time in our youth training. He shuffles. He has kind of a pack, reverse fanny pack, maybe we'll call it, and he pulls out this stone, obsidian, large, circular, maybe the size of like a large pizza, thicker. There's runes inscribed on the top. And he hands it out towards you, Ball. Your kinstone.
I think Ball will reach for it. It's like being offered to me, so Ball will reach for it. as he kind of tries to make sense of what the runes are saying.
Make a wisdom check. At this point, you all can hear the of heavy iron boots on the hallway running in this direction.
While Ball is doing that, can I ask Blood, how old are you and Ball? How old is Ball?
Ball's 20-something years, a boy. I am past my first century.
And again, why has he never done this trial beforehand?
Oh, I forgot he can't hear that.
I'll translate, man.
So I'm curious, has somebody been translating for Amson and Ellery during all of this?
Yeah, I would have done that for you guys.
Yeah, if nothing else, Felix will pass on mentally, too.
Yeah, I'll translate what Felix said. Why haven't you tried the trials before now, then?
The crown couldn't be found. The one he wears. It was lost, and I am curious where he found it.
Did Ball tell us how he found it?
No doubt a trick of the witch.
Yeah, Ball told you guys, kind of. I don't know if exactly what the details were, but he basically said when he went to the, I forgot what they were called, the cannibals, where we died the first time around.
The Gullah Cave?
Yeah, the Gullah Cave. Ball went to kind of blow off some steam and wreck the place, and that's where he found it.
Did you tell us you found it in a fire that it, like, appeared to you? You did, yes.
I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did.
Yes, you told us that your holy symbol turned into it. So...
you didn't mention the scary god voice,
but that you threw yeah, okay. So I'll just think for a moment, because Vesper is not as eloquent as her player, and we'll go.
Weird flex, but okay.
Well, I'm better at coming up with lies than she is. But she'll think for a moment and just say, "Well, it was given to him."
By who?
I don't know. He said he tossed a holy symbol into a fire, and this is what it became.
He starts to open his mouth to say something or ask something when you hear kind of sliding, skidding to a stop. Outside the door, you see 1, 2, 3 Maldor fire giant guards in very similar armor to Vlad, all with their hammers out. He puts his hand up. Hold. It's all right. Balderrock has decided to invite me upon the trials. I will accompany him, as I did in his youth. He looks towards you, Ball. Isn't that correct? As another Maldor guard slides to a stop, and a larger form, burning with light, kind of creeps up behind them. You see First Cinderock looking over them, a couple feet taller than the rest.
No, kill him. Joking. Ball kind of looks around at the party, looks back at Vlad, looks back at this, sorry, did you call it a birthstone? Kinstone, right?
Yeah, Kinstone.
And before I answer, did I get anything from my wisdom roll of 2?
No. It feels cold to the touch. Strange in this place.
Is this through Balderrock?
Here for Cinderock, looking at you.
Ball takes a deep breath and says, yes, it is true.
Glad. Walk with me.
And your brother kind of nods his head at you before beginning to walk out of the room. Enjoyed for Cinderock, the other guards beginning to disperse. Before your father and brother walk away, First Cinderock, or Cinder as he's sometimes called, looks back at you.
Rest. Tomorrow night, you face the trials.
And then he puts his hands on the shoulders of Vlad, a good 5 feet taller than him, begins guiding him down the hallway.
So, you have a brother. Do you trust him?
I think if he wanted to hurt me, he could have. And he chose not to.
I believe that he believes what he has said, and if I am not meant to complete the trials, then someone should.
Well, there's not much to be done about it now. Wasn't advisable to try and kill him, so we go along with what he wants.
And keep a very careful watch on him.
Of course.
Well, you're certain about this trial?
I think we are here for a reason. Maybe that reason is this trial, and if it is not, then we will find out soon enough. Why else would we travel so far? Why else would I be able to pick this hammer up after never being here in my life?
Is it not enough for you to just find your kin?
I think this is where Ball... How long does Enlarge last? And maybe Ball's still huge.
1 minute.
Okay, so probably faded by now. Ball's just kind of holding this pizza disc kinstone in his hand. Says, I don't think so.
Just want you to think about it, Ball. The heavens are in balance, and if we throw that balance at this point when the gods are in danger, I worry.
Do you think it would be a bad thing to have another god on our side? Presumably on our side, anyway.
I believe I'm a little tired of waiting and seeing. I think it is time that some of us take action. Maybe these are the first steps.
Look, there's still presumably something that Ball will have to do once he completes the trial and takes up the mantle. It's not over yet. If we don't even know yet if he is this chosen one, and if he is, we still have time to decide whether or not he's actually going to do it. Or Ball has time to decide that. Get more information from people who now should be giving it to their champion.
And we will have Ball kind of pauses. We will have my brother to ask questions of while on this journey.
Well, what do we need to know to make a decision? What do you need to know?
I want to know what's next. What does it mean to complete these trials, to be their champion, as Felix says? What does it mean to awaken those that are slumbering? What will it mean to... I'd like to know what this all means.
I think as Ball is saying this, Ellery just kind of nods her head. So in the morning, we ask somebody, try and figure out what exactly is supposed to come out of all of this.
Well, go get sleep, pathetic flesh bags.
The pathetic flesh bags get sleep. End scene.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, sorry. Just as Ball goes to sleep, Ball would like to kind of, holding on to this kinstone, try to think if he does actually have any memories with Ball and Vlad. I know that there's been some memories that have been kind of coming to him recently, and he's wondering if he thinks a little harder, if Vlad or this kinstone or any of this kind of sparks something in his mind.
Are you doing anything in particular while you're conjuring or thinking about this stuff?
No, I don't.
Are you looking at the kinstone or anything like that?
It's essentially like he fiddles with the kinstone, and then eventually, if nothing comes of it, he kind of puts the kinstone under his pillow or something, under his head or something. Maybe it's a little uncomfortable, so whatever, like under his pillow, and kind of goes to sleep, thinking on it, literally and figuratively.
Okay. Anyone else before you go to bed? We start in the morning?
Felix is changing a couple enchantments. I think I mentioned it, getting resistant to flame armor instead of enhanced, and he'll also play with his cantrip glove, and his firebolt will be a ray of frost.
Just before sleep, I'm gonna quietly tell Amson what happened with Diether. And just recount all of that to him.
I think Ellery is mostly just watching Ball before she falls asleep, keeping an eye on him.
Sleeping, you eventually wake the next morning. Unclear what time it is since you're underground. You begin to hear movement, patrolling outside, and all eventually awake. What do you do?
I'm gonna go find Ball. Alright, it's probably Felix is just, standing next to his bed waiting for him to wake up.
Not creepy.
He doesn't have boundaries. So, I thought I could try something. Clearly, everyone here thinks you should remember things that you don't. I have ways to probe the mind if I try and, I don't know, maybe find the source of the blockage. If you can confront that, maybe it'll open up some others. How do you feel about me poking around?
Yes, I would like that.
Okay. I guess lie down? I don't know.
Ball's currently, Ball hasn't moved, he's still lying down. Because you woke him up as he's laying, yeah.
Felix is gonna feel kind of awkward to, crawl up on the giant bed and just, I don't know, because they're so tall and he's kind of not. And he will cast Detect Thoughts. And he is gonna try and probe Ball's mind to try and find forgotten memories.
And Ball, are you resisting as you feel this sensation begin to probe deeper into your mind?
No, I don't think Ball's resisting here.
Okay. Just trying to read the spell. Are you looking for something in particular?
Based on what I know about amnesia and psychology, a source of trauma, some central event that might have caused memory loss.
Okay. Make a investigation check, we'll say.
Okay. So that is a 17.
I was going to ask if I could give him assist him since I am being a complicit partner. Is complicit the right word? Whatever. I'm trying to help you. Help me.
I don't know how. You've given into the spell. I'm just not sure since you don't remember it. But that'll factor into the DC. How about that?
Sure.
So you said 17?
Correct.
Okay. You push into Ball's minds, trying to delve into memories, almost like rewinding tape. And you flash back, and there's years of movement, some of which you were there for. But you go back, and eventually there's nothing. It's blank. You're searching, and it's just a void. Nothing's there. It's been covered up. It's almost like similar to the static you faced in the Elder Brain, but different. Like it's been excised, removed, cut out. You continue. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You continue to search, and you begin to push back and find some memories. The mountain, snow, all being with other giants, most far larger than he was. Training with some of them, meditating with some, practicing casting magic with others. There's one that it's strong. It hits you like a foul odor, a smell. It's intense. And as you press towards it, begin to clarify this vision, this memory. See white snow. And two people hiking through it along the ridge. Ball. And then another one, taller, black beard, burning yellow eyes. They reach a cliffside, and the tall one jumps down, looks up towards Ball, who jumps as well, slips and falls into the snow as the taller one reaches down to help him up. Oh boy, we're almost there. As memory begins to clarify, you can see this is a younger Vlad, but distinctly him. And as Vlad helps Ball up, they turn and you can see the peak that they're almost to the top of. See rune stones marking the path to it. You see, slung over, tied with a rope over Ball's back, you see a stone of obsidian. As they're walking through, Vlad speaks. You've come of age, boy, and soon you'll be all done. And they climb the mountain, mostly in silence, past the ward stones, past numerous stacks of kinstones, one for each family member, towards the top. Some of this information is explicit, and others you just from watching the memory know, as if Ball knows it or used to. They reach the top, and you see Vlad's tracing his hand along one of the stones, glyphs that read in giant Vladrog. Being Jotun is more than blood. It is living to the axioms of Tyrus, being of our people, of our kin, knowing the trials and the words of the Father. Vlad looks at Ball. I will not always be with you on your hunts or along your trials. Neither will Father. It will fall to you alone. Do you understand, boy? The stone is placed, and they begin marching back. You see wolves descending, cascading around. And here the vision gets fuzzy, ecstatic. You reach the edge of it. It doesn't fade out like it's been forgotten. It's been cut. Make another investigation check to try to find the edge of it.
17 again.
Okay. Channeling some of the practice you've had, delving into the mind of Aeon, which isn't much, but use some of those same tools to wander through Ball's mind, visualizing it as a way to sort of understand it. And as you move towards the edge of this memory, sort of metaphysically, its edges are tattered, ripped, cut. The snow and the mountain and the wind just stop. And on the other side is void, black. The tattered edges are crimson, red. Strings of red light kind of streaming off of it when memories were cut out. They haven't been forgotten, they've been removed. And you're not sure how or by whom, but you see crimson light.
I will pull back and relay to Ball what I found. It is extremely detailed and not at all emotional. It cuts out all the touchy-feely bullcrap, but specific.
Felix, when you pull out, give me a person. When you remove yourself from Ball's mind, can you give me just a wisdom check?
Okay, Soup's good at those. 4.
Okay.
Okay, I'll relay my story to Ball.
I'm curious, how does Felix describe when he can't see any further? How
I
does he
think
describe that, Ball?
he will say it is... I've not seen anything like it. Your memories have been taken, cut out, erased. It's not like you forgot them. They're gone. I think someone took them from you. Or something.
If you look again, could you find who? Or what?
If they're capable of doing that, I can guarantee they removed any trace of themselves, or at least the act from it. It may be someone you knew, but I highly doubt I would be able to find any trace of the event itself.
Thank you for your help, Felix.
Perhaps you could find a way to use the memory to help emotionally manipulate your brother into being more kind to us, as opposed to, kind of antagonistic.
Emotionally manipulate.
I'm sorry, I forgot who I was speaking to. Make him like us.
I think fire giants are hot, not warm. What was the name of that scout?
Veus? The one who guided us here?
Yeah, is it Veus?
I think so.
It's Veus.
Yeah, so Ball says, Ball was saying
Veus didn't like us much, but she was friendlier by the end.
Yeah, okay, Veus was a bitch, but, regardless, perhaps acknowledging that, yes, you have forgotten a lot, but reminding him of at least one memory. Even hot-blooded creatures tend to go for that. It's only us cold-blooded ones that don't.
Ball kind of nods at you.
Has this conversation been loud enough to wake up Ellery or the others? Was Ball the first to wake up, I wonder?
I mean, I'm not hiding it, and you would have heard me, casting. And so I assume I wasn't, not being subtle.
So I think Ellery's kind of maybe blinking awake has been catching some of this conversation, getting the gist of it, and just kind of says, "Hey, Felix, you find anything else interesting in there?"
Like what?
I don't know. What would you find interesting?
In Ball's mind, probably very little.
You have no imagination.
I prefer reality, thank you.
And then I yawn and start getting up.
Are you guys doing anything particular? Otherwise, you'll be informed there is food in the hall.
Felix will ritually cast Comprehend Languages on himself, at least so that the first hour or so he can follow along.
Yeah, I'm going to cast Tongues on Amson.
How long does that last?
So
that lasts an hour, so I'd wait till we're leaving the room.
Okay, cool.
So Ellery's going to be the only one who can't understand anything that's going on around her.
But Felix can fill you in with the bag.
Oh no, if it's just Ellery, he's not going to do that.
Okay, Vesper, even if he doesn't do it, Vesper will make him be like, all right, she's the only who can't understand, so Felix, you're going to fill her in with a bag, right?
Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
And I think anytime anybody says anything around us in Giant, Ellery's going to be nudging Vesper. What was that? What did they say?
I could cast it on both of you. It's not concentration. Do you just want to be able to speak Giant for an hour?
Aren't we doing a trial this evening?
Yeah. Presumably.
Ellery looks hopeful and then very grumpy.
Hang on, let's see what I've got prepared.
Oh my god, I'll translate for her. You stop being such... you're no fun.
You're one to talk.
So I'm very curious how they deal with the fact that most of us are tiny. Do we get booster seats?
They mostly just let you deal with it for the most part. So they If you want to come with them, they will guide you to a grand hall, large, long tables, where atop it is a lot of food, potatoes, looks like ibex, goat, some caribou, a gratuitous amount of ale and lagers. Very hearty foods. Most of it is blackened. They like their food cooked kind of charred on the outside, but on the inside is very good. You don't really fit on the benches so much, but you can kind of figure it out. They'll let you sit on the floor, whatever you need to do.
Can Ellery even reach the top of the table if she's standing on one of the chairs?
I mean, the chairs are like 5 feet tall, so you'd have to climb onto a chair.
Well, Paul, I guess now you know how the rest of us feel around you sometimes.
Bolt kind of gives a little smile.
So you guys are eating in the chamber. The fire giants are eating there as well. A lot of them are looking over at you. It's a loud chamber. All the voices are kind of overlapping. You see Vlad kind of on the other side, purposely having distance, for Cinderhawk is kind of at a table at the head, kind of Game of Thrones style, looking up on the rest of them. And as you guys are eating, kind of winding down, a fire giant begins to approach your table. Tall, kind of lanky, older looking, dark gray skin with soot marks, especially on his hands, from finger to almost the elbow, is covered in ash and soot that hasn't been cleaned off. His tattoos, burning coal eyes, with iron bracelets and bangles and bones tied, and he walks with a staff. It's kind of this obsidian, almost has a spoon-like scoop at the top. But strange. But he walks over and towards you, Ball. When you're finished with your meal, we should walk, discuss the trial that lies before you. Your brother trained for quite some time to understand the ritual. We will have to make this quick. Cinderhawk is impatient, but it is exciting times.
Yes. Paul looks at him and says, if there is much to know, I would like to bring my friends along.
As you wish. He gives kind of a deep nod, almost a bow, but not quite, before beginning to walk off. When you're ready, find me outside. Find me by the gate. We'll walk from there.
Ball will try to replicate the bow nod thing.
Okay. Anything else as you're eating before you guys move on?
And nothing in particular, but I think throughout the whole meal, Ellery is just kind of looking wide-eyed and not really hiding that as she's looking at all these very, very tall people.
Okay.
Don't you shake your head at me.
You would literally die. Presuming you guys eventually eat and meet with this individual by the gates, moving towards the edge of the city. Good. They've arrived. Now we can walk and discuss what lies before you all. He kind of glances to the rest of you, but mostly is talking at Ball. We met briefly the other day. I'm Clagia Sutland. I knew you as a boy, but it has been some time. The trials you seek to face will not be easy, but you must understand their importance. They are one of the steps required for Tyrus to return. The body of a Titan, Serpent Titan, has been strewn into the plane of fire. We need blood of its heart. It is one of the pieces needed to return Tyrus. The heart, vision, breath, bone, flesh, and veins. You will complete the first step.
We will rely on our brothers and sisters to complete the rest. Tyrus defeated this titan, Sadal, a serpent titan, long ago. Long before the gods fully controlled this world. Its bones and its blood and its heart still beats there, though slain. You will have to go there, use the hammer to crack open the heart, and take from it the blood. When you have it, you will bring it back. This is fairly straightforward. What you will find there will likely be some remnants of the Titan. Its body is massive, but inside of it you might find its children. It protects the heart. Fight past them, sneak past them, to find the heart. Its beat will be loud, and there will be no mistaking it. Do you understand?
Fall will repeat to the party,
We can all understand.
to Felix in his head and say, well, actually, I don't think Ball has a reason to hide it. Ball will look to his party and say, did you say that everyone can understand? Like, are you guys all in giant mode?
I'm translating for Ellery. I agree to it.
So Ball kind of pauses and looks to everyone else, and kind of reiterates, do you all understand?
As soon as Sithan said plane of fire, Vesper grabbed Anson's arm in a white-knuckled grasp. And she just kind of numbly nods. How are we in Giant? How are we getting there? How are we getting back?
I will guide you there. To a ritual. Though it will be problematic for most of you. We can seek protection. Or you will be fine, but being on the plane would burn most of you. However, if you make offerings to Voldar, you should be fine. This is where we will conduct the ritual.
Offerings to who?
An ancient fire giant. One who held a position I did long ago. A protector of the elements and of the ways to walk in between them. In mechanical speak, if you don't have at least resistance to fire, you're going to have a bad time on the plane of fire.
How long will that protect us? How long can we stay there?
It depends on how much you give. 12 hours, 24, 3 days. Maybe longer, depending on what you can give. I can perhaps help some, but my duty is to Ball and possibly to Vlad.
What sort of offerings?
Energy. If you have the ability to give energy, magic. In mechanical talk, you give spell slots up, and you'll get a certain duration of fire resistance.
Do we get any sense of how much we would have to give for how much time? Or is it just vague?
He'll explain in character, but out of character it translates to 1 level of spell slot is equal to 12 hours, 2 is 24, 3 is 48, 4 is 72 hours. A 4th level spell slot will give 72 hours. We have time. Without preparations you need to make, I suggest you make them. Come nightfall, we will consummate the ritual.
I think Ellery will kind of nudge at Vesper, assuming Vesper has been the one translating on Ellery's behalf. Maybe he can tell us about why this is all necessary in the first place. What actually happened to Tyrus?
I'll relay that question.
Tyrus was defeated during the Song of Stone and Scales by a god of dragons.
But as he is a titan, there is a way to precipitate his return. That war killed many on both sides, Jotun and Worm alike. Our numbers have dwindled. There was a time when the entirety of the lands were kingdoms of the Jotun. There were none or very few of your kinds.
And is that how he wants it to return? None or very few of our kinds? Or would he be content to wage war with the dragons?
You're right to worry. Our kingdoms were the most powerful there were of mortal kinds. But I assure you the giants would be most concerned with those of the worm, reducing them, exacting vengeance. But who am I to speak for the Father?
Hopefully the Father will remember a half-small folk is the one that saved him.
Perhaps you're right. Perhaps a new order will be instated, a new axiom. Only time will tell.
How much do you know about the details of the fall?
I know some. Why?
I commune with the divine sometimes, and I've learned that there were gods that helped Tyrus and those that stood aside while he was defeated. Would he hold a grudge against those that stood by, and do you know who those might be?
Well, he certainly would not greet them as allies and friends. I can assure you of that. The goddess of dragons has been slain. His first enemy. But there are others, mortal and deity alike. The prophecies foretell that with the coming of Tyrus he will hunt every last worm down and slay it. Whether this includes Akashon or not is uncertain. Akashon did help fight Ziara during the war, but a different war and a different time. What the gods, how they would react upon his return, I'm not sure. If they step aside and let him reclaim his throne, his crown, he might show mercy. If they try to stop what is coming, there will be war.
And what if there was a war coming before that? Is he going to have his head up his ass too much to help, or is he going to do something about it? I have to be translated. He can't actually understand me, so just clarifying. Vesper will probably lessen that.
I will translate that in a much friendlier way.
Yeah, because Vesper's just like, you can't say that.
I'll basically say.
Go ahead.
I'll basically say, well, we're kind of concerned about a fight breaking out even before his return. Would he be involved in that, or will he make it a three-way war?
What war comes? Cannot answer this. As you guys are discussing, he's walking you out of the city, out of Valasmore, and down the ridges of obsidian. You eventually come to not quite a mountain pass, but a more narrow place with jagged edges, cliffs on either side. There's a warm heat, lit up by the lava, black smoke pouring out of various holes. You can see the obsidian is carved. It seems you're walking through some ancient ditch trail carved by a lava flow long ago. Stone is glyphed to where it's a strange place where natural beauty meets art. There's roots and that fire moss growing on various stones and obsidian burning light. Along your way, you see a herd of caribou, a few ash ibex, dark, with antlers or with horns that rise up, curving backwards. The spirals almost glowing slightly red.
before you enter this narrow place where you see these lava flows pool. There's stacked stones of obsidian. You see one larger one that kind of rises up on an island surrounded by lava. And facing opposite is a stacked stones in to make a doorway almost, a threshold. Two on each side and then one stacked on top of those, like what's that place at the Prime Meridian? The stacked stones in the real world? What's that thing called?
Stonehenge?
Stonehenge, thank you. It looks like Stonehenge, but just one of them. He's telling you all this, and once you get here, this is where the ritual will take place. Make your final preparations. Meditate. Pray. When night comes, we will travel to the plane of fire. So we're going to take a break real quick, but I just want to pick up basically with the ritual. So if there's any last conversations or prep you guys want to do, let's go ahead and do it, and then we'll pick back up.
I think at some point while we're preparing, Ellery will take Vesper aside. Hey, I was wondering if you could help me a little bit. Help me learn how to say something in Giant?
I can try. I learned from Ball.
Well, I guess I want to say... I don't know, I guess I want to know how to say the phrase, I'm with you, or something like that.
Let me see. So, like, I'm assuming not physically.
Well, no.
There's a lot of subtlety, different meanings towards.
That's why I said something like that.
Right.
I mean, much as I might want to.
Please. Vesper will think on it.
Not what I'm trying to say.
And basically give the equivalent of what she means.
Thanks. So we're going to where you said your mom is, right?
Well, it's a big...
I mean, kind of.
Big plane of existence. But yes, she should be somewhere on the plane of fire. If she's alive.
You haven't had any more luck trying to talk to her?
Not so much. It's just been the wind and the heat, and I don't know, maybe she's speaking primordial and I just don't know Orin very well. But
maybe if you try to communicate with her from there, she might be able to respond better.
Yeah. I'm hoping. I'll try it, but, I don't know how far she is, and it's going to be hard to get there in the first place, and then it's going to be difficult probably to stay.
I mean, we probably won't be able to do anything about it on this trip, but it might give us something to go on later.
If there's a later, the fate of the world's in balance. We have to get back to 9 minutes. There's so much to do.
I know. At least, I think I have a quicker way for us to get back to 9 minutes now.
Yeah.
Not super fast, but faster than it would be if we, sailed and then walked.
Okay.
Gonna take Vesper's hand. Guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I guess so. And she just pulls Eller into a really tight hug. I feel like every time I'm reaching for something, every time I think I have it, it just slips through my fingers faster and faster the tighter I try to hold on to it. I'm just worried about all of this. About Ball.
Me too. I mean, with Ball, I think the best thing that we can do is just be beside him. I don't know. I can't tell if his family that we've met here care for him at all. But we have to make sure that he knows that we care. that we're here for him. And we're here for you too.
I hope he listens this time when you say it.
Well, we just keep saying it as many ways as we can. Give her a kiss on the cheek.
Let's go. I'm ready if you are.
Yeah. As ready as I'm gonna be.
Anybody else?
We're just prepping before going through this good thing, right?
Yeah. You have some time. He walked you out there, but you have some time before the sun sets, and he said that's when they'll begin the ritual.
Right, I think immediately before we start the ritual, I'll just cast Mage Armor on myself.
Oh, and I think I'll spend some of this time in preparation praying to Voltimeri for safe travels as we are going to another plane.
Okay. As the sun begins to set, you see more and more of the Ildioton, the fire giants, kind of moving from the city out here, finding a place to sit, rest, watch, kind of lining up around. 5 here, 5 there. Eventually there's a couple dozen making short-term camps out here. They light fires, they bring food, they drink. It's quiet. There's a few drums that are kind of being tapped on intermittently as the sun sets and the night begins to fall. The one you met, Soot Hand, begins to prep the ritual, taking fire and moss and kind of walking around the camp to each of the giants, burning it like incense. And we're gonna take a break. I do have one thing for Felix. Do you want it now or after the break?
Sure, give it to me. Oh, okay. Damn it.
Is that a now or later?
Now.
Okay. As you're kind of waiting, basically, for this ritual to start, thinking about your rock or whatever you're doing, the stars are beginning to come out as the sun sets fully, and now the sky's just lit by stars above and some glowing lava below, and you start to see something in the sky, glimpses of it, light flashing, patterns, see stars moving, and you all see stars falling, streaking across the sky like a meteor shower. But Felix, it's timed. There's a pattern to it. They're changing directions erratically. It means something. You start to look into the sky and try to ascertain what it means. Now the meta of this is that the stars are flashing and moving and shining and falling to create glyphs, patterns, words, a message. And so I'm going to have you in just a second. I want you to understand what you're rolling before you roll it. You're going to roll an Arcana check. And for every point you roll, you'll have 6 seconds to translate. I'm going to put you on a page. To the left is a message that's been put into like a translator, basically. And to the right, there's a translator Rosetta Stone thing. So like A corresponds to this symbol, B to that, C to this. And so you'll have a time to translate. Do you want to do this now or after the break?
Why don't we do it after the break? That sounds like an intense way to start.
Okay. Sounds good. Do you want to come back at 10, or do you all want a 10:05 maybe? What do you want?
I'll probably be a little after 10. I think I need at least 10 minutes, so 10:05 would be good.
Let's do 10:05 then. I'll come back with that.
Next time on Back to the Story.
No peaks or ridges or volcanoes, no obsidian, no giants, just stretches of white as far as you can see.
What the fuck? Oh, so maybe T2. Oh shit, Reborn.
I just turned to Vlad. Do you know this plane? How far is Smo from here?
For part 2 of this episode of Back to the Story, you can find it on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you prefer to get your podcasts. We also have a YouTube channel called Back to the Story, an actual play podcast. If you'd like to support the show, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory.